Hi there, and welcome to the first part in a series of tutorials on Macromedia Flash. In this tutorial, I'm going to give a basic overview of the program and some of the features, as well as just a basic animation. We will get into some more detailed stuff later on. So what we've got right here, this is the Macromedia Flash interface. It's made up of this area here. This is called the stage, and this is where everything is going to happen. We can change the size of this stage depending on what the size of the movie we were going to make, but for this case right now, we're just going to leave it as is. Up here is what's called the timeline, and this is where we actually make things animate. We show Flash operates at, we'll say 12 frames per second. So this, if we put our cursor right around the 12th frame right here, this area from this area, this spot from here would be 1 second. That's kind of tough to understand right now, but we'll get into that a little later on. And we have a series of tools down this side that we use to use for drawing the different things. So let's introduce you to the basic animation fundamental. Flash, what you can do is we can draw particular things. What I've just done is I can click on the arrow tool and so what we've created here is just a plain old static image. I can take this, I can change it, I can manipulate it, I can change the color of it, I can do whatever I want. But what I can't do right now is I can't animate it. Flash makes you create, you have to create pieces of clip art in Flash in order to animate them if you want to move them. And the way you do that is under Window, you go down to the library. And this is where you keep all sorts of pieces of clip art. Flash calls them symbols, all right? So you just have to remember this. If you want something to move, you gotta make it as a symbol in the library, all right? So let's take this and we're gonna delete this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new piece of clip art, something that I want to animate. In this case, it's just going to be a ball. So I can do two things, or one of two things. I can click on this plus sign, which means new symbol, or I can go here in this area here, and I have a multitude of selections, and I'm just going to go new symbol here. I'm going to make sure this is graphic, and I'm going to change this from symbol 1 to ball, all right, and then we're going to click OK. So you see here I'm inside this ball, or inside the piece of clip art. I'm actually editing the piece of clip art. Let's move this out of the way, and I'm going to create a ball exactly round. So shift that. I can take this ball and I am going to round these center crosshairs here. I will explain why later on in another tutorial. So you can see how we've made a ball. You can see it right here in our library, and this is our graphic. We can also see that we're inside the ball, or we're editing our piece of artwork by the fact that we are inside the ball area here. If we could toggle back and forth, we can go back to our original scene by clicking here, and so you can see we are now out of the editable ball, and we're back on our original stage here. So if we want to go back, I could double click on the ball and go back into it. You can see how we're inside the ball, kind of like how you see some websites, how they have like a hierarchy of where you are. You're going deeper into the website. You can always back yourself up by clicking on like the home page, right? Then that's the scene one. We can change the ball back to red, and we can go back and go back to our original scene. Now we've got the ball in our library. We've created our piece of clip art. Now we want to animate it. So we're going to take our piece of artwork that we created and we're going to bring it over to the stage. And there's the stage right there. All right. And we're done with the library for right now. So let's just tuck it away for here for right now, right? Down there. Our timeline. I mentioned earlier how Flash moves at 12 frames a second. Movies, they're like at 29.9 frames a second, I think. And so if you were to have 1 second, if you wanted to have 1 second of animation, instead of having it on the 12th frame, you'd have to do it down here over above the 30th. And this would be 1 second. Flash also creates what's called these keyframes. This is a keyframe. Now think of this like a key moment in time. The ball here is just a static image. It's just sitting in. It's like a picture that you would take with a digital camera, but we need it to animate. So 1 second later, which would be 12 frames later, if I were to right-click, I have an option of creating and inserting a frame, which would kind of fill this up with frames. But what I want to do here is I want to insert a keyframe. All right. So what this does, a keyframe, the way that it looks like on your Flash, is that you've got this little dot right there, a solid dot and a solid dot. That indicates that there's a keyframe. All right. Flash puts one in the very beginning there for you. When at this keyframe right here, if I were to move this to this spot, so if we were to go and play our movie, and I'm just going to go here, and I'm going to hit the enter or return key in our movie, and it's going to play the movie. You're going to see this little red thing go from here to here, and it's going to play the movie, right? All right, so what it's done is that we've played our movie, which is now 1 second long. It's over here, and all of a sudden, when we get to this new keyframe, it winds up there in this new spot. Now, the beauty thing about Flash is that it can fill in the blanks from here to here. So you would think that, oh, okay, well, if I wanted to move from here, and if I were to insert like a keyframe here, there, and insert a keyframe to here, and here, like eventually my movie would go like this, okay, and that makes a really choppy movie. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to undo. We're going to go undo. I'm going to go Control Z. Whoops. Control Z. Control Z. We want to undo what we've done here. Control Z. Control Z. Flash will fill in these blanks. So what I can do, think of this as we're filling in between these two keyframes. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to go Create Motion Tween. We're filling in between. So we're going to select Motion Tween, and what this does, this kind of goes blue, and it's got a little arrow here. And if we play that movie, ta-da! You just created your first animated movie. All right, that's all we're going to do in this in this tutorial. So your assignment for right now is just to go and try and make this happen. Just try and do whatever you want. Draw a face, draw a whatever. Draw it in the library. Go to Window and Library. Create a new piece of artwork right here, and then animate it from one side of the screen to the other, and by using a motion tween. You can undo it by doing that. But okay, so good luck, and I'll see you in part 2.